There's no denying that Asus makes some of the nicest PC parts, and they put serious attention into the fit, finish, and details of everything they make. I've used Asus's hardware many times over my years of building PCs, but the one thing I haven't looked at is their cases. So when they gave me the opportunity to check one out here on the channel, I immediately said yes. And now you get to come along for the ride. You're looking at the Asus GT302 ARGB. As you can see, it's kind of a big case. But you know what that means? It's got room for big components and lots of airflow. The GT302 is a mid-tower chassis that's part of the Asus Tough Gaming lineup. They even threw an embossed Tough Gaming logo on the front. The 302 comes with 4 140mm ARGB fans, interchangeable side panels to allow for glass or mesh, and a removable top section to make for much easier installation. And believe me, it makes a difference. This case has an MSRP of $150 US, but right now it's on sale for $20 off. It'll be linked below in the description in case you want to pick one up for yourself. I'm going to do my usual review with a full walk around and both my positives and negatives with the build process. Let's get into it. I guess I better talk about how you get into the case first, since I already took the side glass off. But you remove your front panel by grabbing behind a small cutout at the top left and pulling outward, then lift up and away. Looking through the interior, there's 2 beveled cutouts along the top, 2 down the side hidden by a plastic shroud, and 2 more along the bottom. The basement is completely square-shaped mesh with a rubber grommet covering a GPU cable pass-through. There's also mounting holes for a vertical GPU riser as well. The mesh squares continue all throughout the case, including at the rear, where there's 8 reinstallable PCI expansion slots and a 140mm ARGB fan. It comes in at a beefy 28mm thick. In fact, all the fans included with this case are the same size and type. Why don't we talk about compatibility? This case accommodates mini ITX, micro ATX, ATX, and even eATX size motherboards up to 280mm in length. You'll need to remove 2 screws in the back and move the cable cover to the right to make room for this. The instruction manual shows you how to get this done. The instructions are easy to read, but I wish they came with color pictures. I like flashy colors. You can fit up to a 165mm tall CPU cooler, a 407mm long GPU, and a power supply up to 220mm. For fan and radiator support, you've got a couple options. For the rear, you can fit a 120 or 140mm fan, which it comes with, or you can fit a 120 or 140mm radiator. The top holds up to a 280 or 360mm radiator, or up to 3 120 or 3 140mm fans. The front is a little bit different. It comes with 3 140mm ARGB fans, just like the rear, but it can only support 140s. If you'd like, you could install a 140 or 280mm radiator up there instead of the fans. The reason you can only fit 140mm fans up here is because they've designed the air filter to efficiently direct airflow across the included fans and onto your components. Before I take off the front cover, I want to point out that your I/O is on the front, not up top like most cases. For this, you've got 2 USB 3.0 Type A ports, your power button, reset button, a combo headphone and microphone jack, and a USB Type-C. This is a 3.2 Gen 2x2, by the way. It allows for up to 20 gigabits per second transfer speed, in case you're not up to snuff on the USB ratings. And if you don't know what that means, it's fast. Trust me. You can remove the front cover by pulling outward just like the side panels. The air filter is attached to the panel with plastic tabs. You can remove this by sliding up on the raised edge to unlock the grooves. This makes it easier for cleaning. Here you can see there's plastic everywhere but the 140mm fan holes. You may notice there's no mounting holes for the 120mm fans. I think they want you to use the fans that come with the case. You access the cable management side exactly the same way as the front, by pulling outward using a bevel at the back and lifting away. The glass and mesh panels are interchangeable, like I said at the beginning. All you have to do is slide them down onto the groove and snap into place. So if you want more airflow, you can throw the mesh on the side of your hot components, or if you want nice visuals, swap them. The cable management tray is massive. You've got up to 37mm of space in most areas. They give you two 2.5-inch drive trays down the left side, with another 2 removable plastic drive sleds at the bottom that can hold either 2.5 or 3.5 inch drives. There's 3 Velcro straps down the middle with lots of space for cables and plenty of tie-down points. Looking to the right side, there's a large cutout in the motherboard tray, and it's got support for the all-new back connector motherboards. Sorry, I don't have any of those motherboards, otherwise I probably would have used it for this build. If you look at the far right in the corner, you can see 3 plastic tension clips for the EPS cable to tuck away. I know I already touched on the back, but the bottom dust filter is removed from here. You just pull on the tab and it slides right out. It's made of nylon mesh and real easy to clean. It's also very easy to line up your tabs to slide it right back in. From back here, you can really notice the square pattern flowing up the case. In fact, it matches on the top as well. There isn't much going on up here since the I/O is on the front, but you can remove the top by lifting at the rear to pop the snap tabs. Flipping the panel over reveals a magnetic removable dust filter that's cut so well it almost looks like it's built in. The top area has 2 small screws at the front that when removed allows you to hinge it open and lift away. What a cool feature. That's it for the walk around. If you're getting value from this video, I wouldn't mind if you gave it a like to share it with others that might be in the market for a new case themselves, because so far this one's looking pretty good. Now I know I'm already done with the build, so why don't I just cover my notes. Sorry there's no thermal or noise testing, but there's plenty of other channels that cover those types of things that I can link below. Let's talk about the 302. I'm going to start with the most important thing to me, and the very first positive is the removable radiator and fan mount bracket up top. This thing really came in to help out during the build process. I wish I wouldn't have bolted it down immediately, because when I first started doing the build, I put the radiator on. Just cut my hand, this is on. When I first started doing the build, I unscrewed the 2 front screws, bolted the radiator onto the bracket, and then put it back in. I should have left it like that instead of screwing it back down, because when I did this, I wound up unscrewing it again probably about 3 more times to be able to plug in everything at the top of the motherboard or route my cables, do some zip ties, that type of thing. So it came in very handy to be able to unscrew this and just kind of hinge the panel up without actually removing it entirely. Very useful feature. I wish more cases did this. And another cool thing about it is even though I took the bracket off, the case didn't lose rigidity. So everything was still really solid even without this top panel. It doesn't actually support any kind of structure of it. The case's framing does that on its own. Second thing that's really cool is the RGB fans do not need any external SATA power. Usually when you have like a controller built into the case that you can push a button and change your colors that way, you'll need SATA power from the power supply to be able to run that controller. These RGB fans plug directly into your motherboard, so you'll have to use software to be able to control them, but they're all daisy chained together, so it's just one ARGB header, the 5-volt addressable ones. That's the 3-pin. It looks like 4 pins, but it only has 3 pins. Don't mistake it for the 12-volt power connector for RGB. That's something different. So if your motherboard doesn't have any ARGB headers, you'll be out of luck because the fans won't even work. Well, the RGB won't work. Another one of my favorite things is the fact that all these panels are quick release. I can just lift up on this and the pop tabs come off. They're little like secure tabs. Real easy to remove. The glass panels like that, the front panels like that. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. The less I have to pick up the screwdriver, the better my build experience is. While I'm on the topic of the panels and everything being quick removal, I also like that this dust filter is shaped for the fans to create the directed airflow across the fans in through the components. I think that's really cool. It prevents any kind of flow through or unmetered air to come into the case. Because as long as this is in front of the fans, this plastic is gonna block anything from kind of escaping or getting in where you wouldn't want it to go. It's easy to use, easy to clean, and it does a fantastic job at flow through air. Let's talk about the back. Cable management space is fantastic. It's not overly huge, it's not like a dual chamber case or anything, but they've given you a lot of space for cable management. Not only that, but there is so many different functions when it comes to cable tie-down points, the Velcro straps, the plastic lock tabs for the EPS connector. I mean, they've pretty much thought of everything. Also, the cable management channel is removable. Well, it's not a channel, it's like 3 separate channels. I don't know how to describe it. Each of the channel guides has 2 sections to it, which is really neat. I feel like the DIY experience when it comes to cable management is really top notch with this case. The very last positive for me is the fact that you get 4 ARGB fans with this case. They have rubber pads on the ends of them for like vibration dampening as well. Usually when cases include fans with the case, they're not like top-notch fans or anything. These are really nice. They're quiet. I mean, they're running right now. I don't know what the RPM are or anything that they're running at, but I can feel the airflow, and I don't know if you can hear it through the microphone or not. Maybe I can. Can you hear it? Can you hear it now? Is it making noise? But the fact that you get 4 of them already pre-installed in the case, RGB control, they're 140 millimeters, so they don't have to spin as fast because they're a larger fan to create the same amount of cooling that like a 120 would do. And remember, they're 28 millimeters thick, so they're already a thicker fan than a standard 25 millimeter, which creates better airflow, more airflow, whatever you want to call it. So they include the 4 ARGB fans, 140 millimeter for the $150 price, actually $130 right now. That's not bad. This is where I do my negatives. And now that I'm reading them back, these are all just personal preferences to me. So you might not have these and it may not matter to you at all. In fact, I'm willing to bet that a lot of you won't care about this, but I'm gonna list them anyways. So the first thing, front I/O, I'm not a fan of it. Unless it's all the way at the bottom, I like my cables to be hidden, to not be seen. And usually this is the part of your case you're gonna see the most of. Some people will see this depending on where you sit it at. I would prefer the I/O to be up top, kind of towards the left-hand side, so that when it's coming out of here, it can kind of go down the side of the case and be hidden. I get it, like most people will plug a controller in and want it to come off of here. It just would have created a cleaner look for me. I'm just not a fan of the front top I/O. A negative that's kind of turning into a positive for me, when I first got the case out of the box, I wasn't really a fan of the square pattern all over the case. The front, the top, the power supply shroud, the back, everything is squared. It's just not my thing. The design is fine. For airflow, it works great, but I'm not really a fan of it. However, now that I've had it for a while and I've kind of done my full review, done the build and everything, I feel like it matches the clean design aesthetic, especially because I decided to go with the ProArt CPU cooler in here, and that's got a square design to it. So I guess if you kind of model your build off of like the square theme, it could kind of fit really well. So really the only 2 problems I have with the case are personal to me, so they may not affect you at all. The Asus GT302 ARGB strikes a great balance between features and price. Its design shows attention to detail with good airflow and solid construction. Whether you're just getting into PC building or have done it many times before, this case is a great choice. Building in the 302 was a smooth and enjoyable experience. From its smart cable management to its easy access panels, everything felt well thought out. It's the kind of case that makes assembling your PC fun, while giving you a polished, professional looking build when you're done. If you enjoyed my review of the 302, consider subscribing, because PC review videos are something I'm constantly making here on the channel. And if this one's not for you, but you want some more case options, check these out and maybe we'll find something that you like. And as I always say, I'm Danny with Danny's Tech Channel, and I'll see you in the next one.